can be hard to find a long period of free time to do a painting. It can also be very tiring as well. Sometimes we spend a whole day working and that left us with little time or energy to paint. Today, I want to share with you a few tips to help you get into painting when you are living a busy life and starting to lose motivation to paint. Hey, this is Eric from Cafe Watercolor. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I have a day job. I have 3 boys and I have this YouTube channel to run, so it can be a bit difficult to paint consistently. And sometimes after a day of work, dealing with 3 boys and things in the life getting in the way, I just feel a little bit emotionally too drained to pick up my paintbrush and paint. If you're having similar experiences, I have 3 tips to share with you that can hopefully help you to start painting more often and with ease. Number 1. Just start doodling. Simply starting to paint is actually the hardest part because it requires you to initiate the motion. Like Newton's first law, an object at rest will stay rested unless an external force is applied, and that external force is you. But once you get it started, it will be much easier to continue. And also, I said start doodling, not start a painting, because if you always give yourself the pressure to start and finish a painting, you are going to get past a lot of mental hurdles. But if you are just going to play around with pencil and watercolor, it is much easier to start. I know you might be thinking that, well, I'm going to start painting, so I want to get something out of it, which means a finished painting. But if you always think that way, it will be much harder to start. Learn to enjoy the process. There's something very cathartic about feeling the brush glide through the paper and making marks. Try to simply enjoy that. If a painting came out of it, great. If not, you still had a wonderful time painting, and that's time well spent. And this is much better than going on the internet and watching TV to get yourself upset, right? Number 2, paint a small painting. Small paintings has its charm and it shouldn't be disregarded. I recently bought some smaller watercolor pads like this one because smaller paintings are more manageable and it takes less time and energy to finish. Painting small is also a very good way to practice simplifying your painting and focus on the big shapes. You can get a smaller watercolor pad or just tape off a larger piece of paper into 2 or even 4 sections and pick something simple. A simple scenery like a simple sky, a small portrait of a person or pet. It keeps painting fun and fresh. If you find painting a small painting still a daunting task for you, then let me give you something even simpler. Number 3, paint a small value study. Let's not even worry about color. Just paint a quick value study with a single color. You can't get any simpler than that, right? I can't tell you how much I enjoy painting a small value study. It is quick and satisfying because I can get result very quickly. Value study is super useful to practice washes, value, shapes, composition, and even brush strokes. You're getting a lot out of a small value study with a very short period of time. Moreover, if you end up with a good value study, this can be a huge morale boost for you to do your final painting next time. I can't recommend this enough. Okay, I hope those tips were helpful for you. Give them a try and let me know how they work out for you. Now, I'm going to share with you the process of this small painting that I did. It's from a photo that I took the other day. One of my cats is just sitting on the windowsill and looking out. I like the lighting and the silhouette of my cat, so I decided to paint it. There isn't that much detail needed for this painting, so I decided to keep it small and simple. And like what I suggested, I did a small value study first, and I really like what I end up with, so I decided to do a color version of the painting afterward in another sitting. Before we continue, if you like my content, please consider to like and subscribe, ring the bell icon so you won't miss my next video. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's take a look at this painting. So I didn't record the process of value study because I was doing it just for fun, like how I was suggested. But I liked the result of the value study quite a bit, so I decided to do a finished piece. The final painting is quite small. It is 10 by 7. So as you can see, this is quite a small painting. My typical go-to size is 12 by 16 because it's large enough for me to get into some details, but also it's not too big for me to get overwhelmed. But again, a small painting has its charm, especially for something kind of simple like this one. So this is a very fun little painting. So I start off with the line drawing. Now the tricky part for this specific painting is that you really need to figure out the value. The outside is where the light source is, but outside the window there are a couple things like the trees and the house and the car, and inside is mostly in the dark value. So how do we group that together? That's the important question for this painting. So in the value study, you can see that most of the light and the middle value are outside the window, and the light reflection on the keyboard and the white key, of course. But the interior, the cat, the wall, and underneath, everything underneath the keyboard, those are in the dark value. So value study is a good way to resolve all these so that you can get a nice looking picture without worrying about the colors. So because I like the result of value study, I decided to go ahead and paint my color version. And the first wash is the color of the light, so I keep everything nice and wet and keep them quite transparent. And because this is the first wash, this is the lightest wash there is, you can just simply paint over a lot of stuff in this picture because you can cover them up later with darker value. So as you can see, aside from the highlights on the side of the roof and a little bit of sparkle here and there, it's mostly pretty much all covered up, and I can paint over them later when it comes to middle value and dark value. So the light of the tree, the light on the house, those warm sunlight on the road, those are all part of the first wash. Now that the first wash is dry, I can start my second wash, which is the middle value. So referencing from our value study, the middle value start from the background is the trees. So the trees, as much as you think those are actually darker greens, relative to the cat and the wall inside the house, these are actually middle value. They are a lot lighter than the cat. So the darkest thing in this photo is the silhouette of the cat and the keyboard stand. So relative to that, the dark side of the tree, they are actually much lighter. So I said it before, don't paint with perception. Just because you see a certain shadows or a dark side of a certain things doesn't necessarily mean that they are dark value. You need to judge your value by squinting your eyes and look at the whole picture. So if you do that right now and look at the photo with your eyes squint, a lot of things, a lot of the dark detail around the house and around the tree and the bushes, they simply just disappear and all merge into a middle value. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm painting middle value. I will mix different color in that middle value, but they are the same value. And I try to connect them as much as possible. So the tree will connect to the shadow on the house and the car and the driveway and so on. So I don't really need to separate everything that I see just because they are separate entities in the reference. This is actually just the background, so keep it as the background. Don't get too invested in it. You want to keep that light and you want to have a certain amount of detail because it serves a really nice contrast between that and the silhouette of the cat. But you don't want to get into too much detail because that's not really the main focus of the painting. So now there's a middle value on the background, so immediately you're going to see some contrast. So I continue to wash down and paint some reflection on the keyboard surface wet onto wet. It's like a brushed metal surface, so it got some soft reflection of the cat and the window frame. You should start to paint those in. Now I'm painting the keys on the keyboard. I am not really counting which key, how many keys that I'm painting. I'm just trying to paint them as shapes. I'll merge some of it. I will just give some suggestions of gaps and stuff. This is not a mechanical drawing of an actual keyboard, so don't need to stress on making everything very accurate. Continue the wash down with the middle value. So in the value study, you can see that I decided to lose pretty much all of the detail underneath the keyboard, except a little bit of hint on that red box, which I find interesting, and the keyboard stand. So I'm doing the same thing here. And now I'm painting the interior wall of the house and the window frame. Now the window frame, there's like 2 layers of it. I just keep it as one just to keep things simple. Now when I get to the 3rd layer, which is painting the dark, the wall and the window frame, the cat is going to be much darker. So right now you kind of feel that everything kind of just blend together except the light area. So once I get those dark in, it's going to bring out some contrast. So the background is dry, so I can start to fill it in with a little bit of the dark value. And you don't need a lot. Don't start to paint in the window and everything. Just a few area that has really dark shadows. But for the most part, keep them as light and middle value. But this tree right here, right outside of the window, those are one to make them dark value just because they are much closer to us than the background house, the car, and the bushes. So that just creates a little bit more sense of depth. So now I am making the window frame darker. And also start to paint the cat darker as well. So as you can see, once I start to add more dark value, the cat start to pop out from the distance. And now we start to see the proper depths between the cat and the background. And I do a little bit of wet on to wet on cat's fur when I still get a chance to. Just to kind of give that furry feels. She is a long-haired cat, so I try to hint that. So some darks on the keyboard, buttons and stuff. Again, I didn't count how many buttons and stuff that's supposed to be there. I just paint different shapes that will make it look good. Again, this is a very enjoyable little painting, and I really find doing this quite relaxing, and it's really fun too. And I think because just the form factor and the subject, it just works so well together. This little painting actually feels a little bit precious to me. Almost feel like it can be a greeting card or something like that. So I highly recommend you do some small paintings just for fun and relaxation. Now, this specific picture is actually not that simple because of the background, the houses, card and stuff, and then there's the keyboard with a bunch of keys on it. So the picture itself is not that simple per se, but then the subject is actually quite a simple subject, just a cat looking out in the afternoon. And I quite like that. So I'm doing the dark value on the interior wall on the side. And once that's in, you can feel the light a lot better. I just make the reflection of the cat and the window a little bit darker on the keyboard. And watercolor does dry lighter, so you can see that the dark wash on the keyboard, they're actually getting a little bit lighter. So I need to go back in later after it's dry to do a glazing. So some more dark underneath the keyboard. I flip the paper so the wash doesn't keep going down. So the paint won't just gather on the bottom. So I go over the dark value again, just so that I can push the light and the contrast a little bit more. So I'm just adding a little bit more details on the keyboard, making things pops a little bit. And here we have it. It's a fun little painting and I really enjoyed that. Again, sometimes you don't need to paint something magnificent like a sunset in Venice or something. But a small painting like these can sometimes be more personal and more precious as well. So definitely give it a try. Find something around the house, a little corner or something. Just do a really simple value study and painting. I hope you enjoyed this small painting demo and I hope you give it a try as well. Spend a little bit of time in a week for a small fun painting session can really help you feel productive and relaxing. That's it for today's video. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are. I am Eric from Cafe Watercolor. See you next time.